Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
How to learn about money and investing and what no one tells you. You are going to be thrilled or really irritated by the time I'm done talking to you today. Because some of you are going to why wasn't I told these things? I love that reaction from my clients. That's my favorite reaction is I didn't learn this in school and I didn't even know about it. I think what I'm going to tell you today should be taught in junior high. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade should easily be taught these concepts. So then you can choose to go be an employee. You could choose to be an entrepreneur. You could actually choose to start investing and knowing what's going on. And stop blaming your parents. They did their best to do whatever they did to you. You're now a grown adult if you're 18 years old and listening to this. So again, we're live stream today. We're going to be live in the chat answering any questions. We have done the content on a pre-record just out of convenience for our whole crew and our camera crew and our whole team. But we're here live today answering questions, so I need you active in the chat because I'm active in the chat. So I'm not just teaching, I'm actually going to be answering questions. At any time, if you miss a question or you think of something later, go to askloral.com. Cool site that we put up so you can ask me any questions 24/7. You can wake up in the middle of the night and go, what do you think about that? I wonder what Loral think about that. And then go ask a question and we will be right back with you within 24 hours. So let's get jamming and talk about a few things. So here's the topics we're going to go through in the whole concept of what you're not taught about money and investing. Who taught you? What books you need to read? How to build a 6-7 figure business. For those of you who really want to grow up, you can build 8 and 9. How to live a wealth cycle versus a lifestyle cycle. How to be like the wealthy and live like successful people. You know, if you want to be a millionaire, you got to come hang out with us. And you say, oh, you're not accessible. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of gurus that aren't. But guess what? When I'm your client, when you're my client, I'm your mentor. Let's get that in the right order. You get my cell phone number. You get my text number. Like you can call me and say, hey, I have a 5-minute question. I get those all day long. I love it. I love helping you guys figure it out because what you know about money is freaking wrong. It is so, you should just be horrified. All right, I'm going to talk about, again, I beat this horse to death. Good debt and bad debt. You have got to figure this out. Good debt is one of the greatest assets to leverage yourself to a 3 to 5 year millionaire. It's not negotiable. I'm going to, not like, well, I don't like that part. It's not negotiable. And then how to make money really fast. So we got a lot of topics. So let's go one by one and knock them out. All right, and I have tons of resources for you. So stay to the end. I'm going to give you some goodies. And not goodies you've ever seen before or had before. I think my team, they don't even know about it. They're going to be shocked. They'll be, what? Why are you doing that? Because we can't. All right, who taught you about money? All right, and so actually I want to take a little pause. If you have not got a journal or a pen or paper, it's time to start doing that. I'm going to be doing YouTube Lives. You need to be on this channel on a regular basis. You need to hit subscribe, click the notification button. I'm here 5 days a week, 10 to 15 minutes. And then once a month, we're going to be doing these YouTube Lives. And I only am getting these content. Why we're talking about this? Because my last YouTube Live, you said you wanted this. So if you're not engaging in what you want, I can't read your mind. You have to talk to me. All right, so who taught you about money? I want you to write that down. Right? Just write down kind of the top 3 to 5 people who influenced your life about money. And then right next to it, what were the conversations? Right, and we all know the traditional ones. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are bad. You know, blah blah blah. Money makes you evil. Blah blah blah. All like whatever that is for you. The worst thing parents could say. The worst things that parents could say is don't ask. Like if you go into a store, you go in to do something, don't ask for it. Also, we can't afford it. So what those kind of just even those 2 patterns. If you use those 2 words, we can't afford it and don't ask for it. Up until 8 years old, until a kid's brain really matures, they internalize that in their subconscious as I'm not worth it and I don't deserve it. So why do we have all this screwed up stuff in the planet? Is most people have been told those 2 things. Don't ask for it and we can't afford it. So then the kid takes it personally. They think it's their fault and they internalize it and then they grow up to be, interesting adults who have to do a lot of therapy. My therapy is about 1.1 minute. We're going to get you into new action, get you new results, and we'll, It'll just correct, the past will correct itself. It's going to atrophy is the way I'm going to talk to you about it. So who influenced you and what were the conversations? What I want you to do is I want you to flip the conversations. You can afford anything you want. So interesting, I was in a conference last week and a woman showed me my saying, money comes easily and frequently is what I said in The Secret. And she said, money comes frequently and easily and frequently, and she had it written out. And I said, oh no, you have to put their quote by Loral Langemeier on there. That was from The Secret. Because, I didn't believe that for a long time, and I spoke about it in The Secret. And if you haven't watched it, go back and get it. I believe it's on Netflix. You can check it out over there. But it's interesting. So you're going to say these positive things to yourself. You're going to say you deserve things. I call it the act as if principle. You're going to, you're going to act as if you're the expert that you're becoming. You're going to act as if you're the millionaire. When I first joined the Rich Dad Poor Dad team, I wasn't a millionaire. And people would say, well, who are you to, tell me what to do? And I said, because I'm on my way to being a millionaire. You can either come with me or stay here and stay broke. Like, I'm getting a team and I'm going. And this was 1996. By 99, I was a millionaire. So in the beginning, it feels like you're kind of faking and like you're lying because you're saying, money comes easily and frequently. And then the true behavior of your day is it sucks and it's not easy and it's hard. Now, there's two big things that we do in our community, especially if you're at the big table. We teach you teams and systems. And even some of you that are watching that are at the big table, you're still not using enough team and enough system appropriately. You've got to use a team, you've got to use a system. Two of the biggest mistakes that I made is I didn't hire fast enough and I didn't grow them fast enough and I wasn't willing to spend the money on the systems. You have to spend money on the systems like your database, your basic CRM to build so you have somebody to always sell to. All right, so who taught you about money and what were the conversations? We need to flip it. You're going to live, I want you to write it down, in the act as if principle. You're going to act as if you're becoming a millionaire. Right? This is the 3 to 5 year plan. It has worked since 2006. We've made thousands and thousands of millionaires, all 6 continents around the world. So if you say, well, that works for other people, not me, again, notice your psychology. Wrong language, wrong conversation, right? When you say you can't afford it, that's not the conversation. It's what do you want and what are you willing to do is the conversation. You can afford anything you want if you actually put your mind to it and got good mentoring and good coaching and a sequence to it. Now, let's go to the next topic. What books do you need to read? Mine. All right, so we're going to start. I'll go through the books. And some of you might know, but I actually think that there's a lot of you that think this is all happening in osmosis. So, meaning you're not reading them. You need to dig in. This is the book number 1. So the way you read the Millionaire Maker book is you read chapters 1 to 3. You do a gap analysis. You go over to Ask Loral, and you send it in and say, could I talk to somebody on Loral's team one-on-one about my gap? So a gap is where are you and what do you want, right? I call it your freedom day. There's no such thing as retirement. That's an agricultural word that means to put cattle to pasture or die. You're not a cow, you're not dying. So if you've quit your job or you're like technically according to the public world retired, I would just say I'm in a transition. Stop using the word retired. Stop using words that don't benefit you. So I want a gap analysis. Then you're going to go on and read the sequencing. Sequencing is our secret sauce. Right? I kind of created that as I became a millionaire because what I realized in my mentoring is I was doing a lot of the right things. I would bet a lot of you, put in the chat below, how many of you are doing the right things? I bet a lot of you are doing the right things, but they're out of order. So sequencing is do the right thing at the right time, right? And then with mentoring and coaching, you avoid costly mistakes, you pick up the speed, you get teams and systems, and you get a hell of a Rolodex from a great mentor. So let's move. Then what you do is you read the rest of the book. And you can kind of skim it, kind of get into the first couple chapters. There's 7 families that are true stories. They all became millionaires. And there's these cool blueprints on what we did to help them move, right? So, bring your brain. Like, how does the pattern? This was their sequence and their pattern. So what's yours? So once you figure that out, then we got to keep moving. What other book do you read? Well, now you got to make a bunch of money. I'm going to come back to this one in a little bit. This is how to build a 6-7 figure business, right? If you're really, really good, we can take you to 8. So cash machine is a term I use. I would rather have you have a cash machine than a business because the statistic of business is 90% fail. So right now I'd like you to put in the chat, what businesses do you have? How much is your revenue and what do you want? Because all of you should be making 6 figures. The reason why 6 figures is difficult to get to is because we're taught to be employees, not entrepreneurs. This is not a difficult conversation. You just don't know. And then the other part that just makes it challenging, not only in business, but there's so much crap that's on the internet and it's out of order, it's out of sequence, it's little pieces, and you have to put it together. Right? You're not the coach, you're not the mentor, you're not the person who knows how to put all these pieces together. Meaning, if you think about your wealth team, you might have a marketing specialist in your business, right? You may have a sales team, you may have an accountant, you may have a financial planner, you may have somebody in insurance. Who's coaching? Who's quarterbacking that whole team playing together? That's my job, is to educate you, and then you lead your team. All right, so I know a lot of you think I give advice. I don't. I wouldn't even know how to walk that way and give advice. I give education, and I give a sequence to what can get you there faster. But a business is critical. So how do we become a millionaire? You got to make money, right? And again, I'm giving you a bunch of gifts at the end of this recording. So make sure you stay tuned, because we got to give you a bunch of gifts away. Now, once you start making it, guess what you'd have to do next? You need to keep it inside corporate structure. So when we're done with this live stream, I want you to go to the search bar and look up how to live corporate life. I want you to do a whole piece on tax deductions, because all of you probably are not deducting enough because you're scared of the IRS. The IRS is your friend. Yes, they've just hired 87,000 new agents. Don't get all worried about being audited. If you're doing everything right, we do things the way we teach you, which is super responsible and not commingled and super organized, you should be fine. Right? And if you're not fine, call us again, go to askloral.com. You can tell that's where I want all your questions on a regular basis if we're not live out here. Now, once you learn to make it and keep it, you have to learn to invest it. I'm going to come back to this topic and go thoroughly through what is a wealth cycle. I made that word up because what I noticed is you're in a lifestyle cycle. So wealth cycle investing is when you make it and you invest it. So income to assets, and then you get this cycle of money moving through your life. I want you to start it as young as your teenagers. Parents, you have to help your kids until they're 18 and a legal adult. All right? So once you start making, keeping, and investing, you got to use a team. So I've spent over 20 years assembling a team that are licensed, that are advisors, that can give you the advice. I educate you, I hand you out to them, and they are an amazing team for you if you're serious about this. But here's the biggest thing, just being on my YouTube channel 5 days a week and really being in the conversation about money. I want you in the communities about money. That's what we do. We talk about it all the time. I was just in a mastermind. I was down with Rudy, and he said, I get on the treadmill every day. And I get on the treadmill every day, meaning we get up and we go to work, but we're doing what we want to do. As entrepreneurs, we go and we hang out with our teams. We create new stuff. I have a new conference coming up. It's our Gen W conference, Generational Wealth Conference. Phenomenal. October 26, 27, 28. So we'll put the link in the chat. So starts around 1 o'clock. So you can fly in the morning of the 26th. We start around 1 o'clock. And we're getting deep into this conversation about money and legacy and why generational wealth doesn't happen. When I became a single mom with Logan and then had my daughter Tristan, I wanted to do it different. I didn't want a surprise basket at the end and hope they could figure out what to do with the money that I'm leaving them. And I chose to do it this way. That's not happening. It doesn't happen to a lot of families. They get what I call the surprise basket. So, mom or dad dies and then the kids go to war and they fight about it because there was no plan for the legacy. There was no plan that needed to happen. That's what I'm passionate about. So click on the link below. Gen W tickets are on sale. We're at the Grand Sierra Resort, beautiful ballroom. If you want to be a sponsor, you can be a sponsor. If you want to be an affiliate, you can be an affiliate. Check out our site. We just put that link in there. You got to have a team, and we have built a team for you. So again, how do you become a millionaire? Who taught you about money, and what books do you read? You start here, then you read The Cash Machine, then you would read The Wealth Cycles, then this one just came out, and if you haven't got it, go to makeyourkidsmillionaires.com. The reason I want you to go to that site specifically, there's a whole bunch of bonuses. Thousands of dollars of bonuses we're still giving away to those of you who go do this. So then you bring the conversation into your home. What other books should you be reading? Well, I think the Rich Dad Poor Dad series did put this whole conversation on the map. I would say they're the what to do and I'm the how to do it. Let's see, there's all sorts. I love Blue Ocean Strategies. I love Atomic Habits. I love the good old greats, Think and Grow Rich, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I love Keith Cunningham stuff. I love Bob Proctor stuff. So you want to get in reading success books. You want to be in a successful conversation, being where people are, learning how we talk, learning how we hang out. I mean, even just going out with a group of people for dinner. Most people that live in their employee, like, paycheck to paycheck, they nickel and dime the check when it comes. That's not how we roll. I pick it up sometimes, they pick it up sometimes. Like, there's this nickel and diming that you do to each other that's just so insane. And the scarcity of that drives me crazy. So I really want you to think, like, who taught you? What are you reading? Who are you hanging out with? And if you're around a bunch of negative people, well, get rid of them. And now I'm not saying being rude, just atrophy them. You're going to start leaning in. Come to Ask Loral on a regular basis. Come to my YouTube channel. Engage. Be in a conversation. We have calls every day, all week long. Probably not on a Saturday and Sunday necessarily. Sometimes we do. But I want you in this conversation. So with the people around you, just stop talking about money. It's just an interesting opinion. You don't know. They're not your mentor. They're not your coach. It's just, hey, did you hear about that great deal? Well, who's doing the due diligence? Who's doing the assessing? You all kind of get yourselves in a lot of trouble hanging out with who you're hanging out with. So we'll be your financial family in our financial conversation, and you atrophy those people. If they're not interested, I can promise you, you will have nothing to talk to them about later in life. Like, what are you going to talk about? Like, my family still says, why haven't you ever gone back to a high school reunion? I said, what would we talk about? Here's how it would go. Oh my gosh, you're the millionaire maker. Tell us how you did it, right? I don't go backwards, I go forwards. And a lot of you keep leaning backwards because you want the life you had at a different time. I want you to move forward to the life that you deserve and that you can have. Now, let's talk about how to build a 6 and 7 figure business. This is probably one of my favorite conversations. So back to this book. There's also another book I wrote called Put More Cash in Your Pocket, which is a little bit more of a starter book. How to get 500 to 1,000. It's a great book for your teenagers of how to just get a side hustle moving, right? It's designed, actually, the Put More Cash book was designed in 2009. It came out. I think it came out in 9. No, it might have came out in 11. But it was designed during that era where if people, and write this down, you're going to be shocked. If people would have made $742 more per household, they wouldn't have gone into foreclosure. Now, don't tell me that any household in America cannot make an extra 1,000. Divide by 4 weeks, that's $250 a week extra. Divide by 5, that's $50 a day. Somebody in the household has a skill set to make $50 an hour. You could tutor, you could do videography, you could go fix somebody's social site. So you staying broke is a choice. You not like making 6 and 7 figures is a choice because you're not willing to spend the money to get the right education. This whole YouTube channel is free, for gosh sakes, like you should be consuming it. And then come to our marketplace, make some money, and then lean in and let us coach you privately and let's get going. Like, it's a choice to stay stuck. See, 6 figures is only $416 a day. So if you think about $100,000, it's $8,333.33 a month, right? Divide by 4, divide by 5 days, it's about just over $400 a day. You say, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do for $400 a day? I don't know, what do you do right now? If you're an engineer, have a consulting firm. If you do websites, do extra websites. If you're a good copy editor, do copy editing. You can do anything. You could start stores online. Shopify makes it easy. Go to our store and just check out shopintegratedwealthsystems.com. Check it out. See what we did on our store. Be an affiliate. I didn't sell my own stuff for a very long time because I didn't have any stuff. See, and a lot of you are waiting until you're an influencer or you have stuff. You don't have to have any stuff. You can sell my stuff. You can sell Bob Proctor's stuff. You can sell whoever's stuff. Like, there's tons of affiliate programs out there. Go to ClickBank. Go be an affiliate out there. There's thousands of things you could go sell of other people's. Go be in direct sales. I love direct sales. I'm in a lot of direct sales right now. And if you want to be in one of my direct sales companies, I'm in send out cards. I'm in a home, like just basic, like laundry detergent and dishwashing soap, like all that stuff I get through my direct sales company. I do my skin with a direct sales company, all my skincare. Like I do wine, I'm in a whole bunch of them. Now they'll tell you can't be in a whole bunch, and you can be. You have to legally do it through different companies and different structures. It all works out. My point is, you not making money and getting to 6 and 7 figures is an excuse. The beginning, do something easy. Do something easy, fast, simple, because you have so much to learn to be an entrepreneur. You have to learn to market. You got to learn to sell. You got to learn cash flow. You've got to learn to put a team together. You got to learn systems. You have all this stuff to learn. So don't make the first thing like really hard. That's why I love my path. My path was I went to the Rich Dad Poor Dad group. By the time I was done, and I don't speak probably enough about this, I wasn't just selling their stuff in their cash flow game. I was selling Bob Proctor's, Mark Victor Hansen's, Robert Allen's. Why did I get to know all the greats? Jim Rohn stuff, Zig Ziglar stuff. I sold all their stuff. I have 18 products of 18 different experts that I sold, right? Because I thought everybody needed a little bit of everything. So I learned to be in the system, learned to do a database. I learned to market. I learned to sell other people's stuff. I learned cash flow. Then all of this came to mind, right? All my Millionaire Maker stuff came to mind. So do it easy, do it fast, and get to 6 figures. So here's the problem with 6 figures. Well, first of all, getting to 100,000, you're in the 3% club. That's how bad the statistic is. If you make 80,000 or more, you're in the top 25% of income earners. Like, this is a disgusting statistic. You need to write it down. So if you make 80,000 or more, you're in the top 25% of income earners. If you make 100,000 or more, you're in the top 3%. 3. And I'm trying to make you millionaires, which is 7 figures, which is a 1%er. So, so many people say, well, how come so many people haven't done it? I said, because people are lazy. And here's the bigger thing. I don't know that they're actually lazy. They have really stuck habits. They love doing what's comfortable, right? We do this fun Steve Harvey video in one of my shows where he teaches you how to jump and how you're going to jump, and your parachute's not going to open, and you're going to get bruised, and you're going to like slam across these rocks, and you're going to get some bumps. So that's not failing. That's just learning. And I think a lot of you have things coded in your mind so oddly and inaccurately, it doesn't work. And then what happens with money is, like, there's no one to help coach and mentor and guide you, right? One of my new companies in brands is called the Financial Fitness Trainer. So I want you to think of us as a trainer. We're going to put you on a conditioning program to learn millionaire skills, millionaire habits. See, what happens in the financial space is when you have a license, you're limited to the conversation because your broker dealer says, well, you can only talk about that. You go into Schwab, they can only talk about Schwab products. They can only talk about Fidelity products. Real estate, you can only talk about their products. Insurance, they can only talk about their products. So who glues it together? So to me, that's the distinction I put together for this company, is I help you understand how do you, like anybody can say, so I was going to say, how do you put the strategies into tactics is what I do differently. So how do you take your companies and pay bills differently so you use all your deductions and you're not commingling? Who teaches you that? A CPA won't. You think a bookkeeper might, but they're probably not millionaires, so they don't know how. So I look Millionaire Maker style and say, how do you put cash flow together in an easy way? How do you put the systems together in an easy way? How do you use that right? How do you do that right? We're the implementation glue of all these strategies that you hear about, but you're not sure how to do about, right? So why 6 figures is critical? I'm going to keep repeating this to you. You're going to live on a bunch of it. You're going to pay tax on some. And then you've got to actually buy some things. Like for $1,500, we'll do your marketing and show you how to do the things we do and how we get leads. But then you got to learn to sell. You're going to need some assistance. You're going to need a bookkeeper, an accountant. Like, you got to pay for things. So 100 grand isn't enough to do all the things that we're going to tell you. And I can tell you, once you get 6 figures, getting to 7 is easier. Your first 6 is the hardest work in the first year or 2 that will work with you. And then after that, you'll be off to the races because now you know how to market. You just expand your marketing, expand your sales, expand your cash flow. You'll hit a 7-figure business. So there is some process to it. I was talking, who was I talking to the other day? It was awesome. And by the way, I want comments in the chat. Talk about what's going on with what you're doing, the questions you have, because we'll be live answering them and talking to you. Oh, I know. I was talking to a business owner, and she was really scared to invest money in better marketing systems, right? And so I said, here's what's interesting, is you're at a certain level of cash flow, and you feel a little bit better, and you put a little bit of money away. But then you're at that point where now you got to go hire somebody. So now you hire somebody, you have to hire a better system, all of a sudden your cash flow goes down. So you're going to go from 6 to 7 figures, and you, unless you have a good investing strategy, aren't going to feel like your cash flow is getting any better because you're buying yourself away to growth. You're going to buy more people. You're going to buy more systems. You're going to buy more time. But then you get to be free. That's the part you don't get. You're not willing to take a risk on yourself to get off your rear. Let me guide you and mentor you and sequence you that you can get past that 6 figures. You will have the money. But the cash flow is an interesting roller coaster for a lot of people. And it feels odd because you don't have good systems to do it. And then you get stagnant. And if you go to my integratedwealthsystems.com, you can take a quiz, see if you're in the stagnant cash flow category of the quiz. Stagnant cash flow is a choice. All right, you've got to surge sales. Making more money solves everything. So you surge sales, and then guess what? You're going to need to buy a team to do a good YouTube channel like this. You're going to have to buy a team to do better social media. You're going to have to buy a team to help make you a bestseller. Like, this doesn't come at no cost, and I guarantee you, you cannot figure all this out. It's not worth your lifetime. I have figured so much out. I have an awesome team that you get access when you come closer. Oh, you just got to get it done. You're like, it's interesting to watch you struggle. And why you choose to struggle. Once you get to 6 figures, you accelerate 3 things: marketing, sales, cash flow, of course your team, and 7 figures is around the corner. I went from hardly any, and I got it, and then I did like 359 or 3 something, high in the 300s my first year. I went straight to 1.7 million the next year because I figured out how to get a better team. I figured out the systems, and it wasn't a big team, and we did 1.7. Then we went 3.6, and we just kept going. So you can do it. Money solves a lot of problems, and honestly, money is actually what makes a huge impact. So let's keep going. We talked about who taught you about money. We've talked about the books you need to read. We've talked about a 6 and 7 figure business. Now let's go back to the other topic. How do you break this cycle? See, what I figured out early in coaching a lot of people while I was still at the Kiyosaki camp and the Rich Dad Poor Dad team is that people live their pattern, and all marketers market on what can you afford per month. So if you're in the what can you afford per month category, put a yes or no in the chat right now. How many of you live in the can I afford it per month thinking? Like, that's your psychology. Like, that doesn't occur to millionaires, whether you can afford it. We can afford anything we want. We just have to go make the money to have it. And see, just that statement freaks a lot of you out because you're like, oh, I don't know how to make the money. Well, then get to the marketplace and crack the code. Because when you learn to be an entrepreneurial, like, success, and you learn to make money, and you learn a system, and you get a good team, 6 and 7, 8 figures is not that difficult. A lot of you struggle because you don't take a chance on yourself, or you've already have this, what I call the saboteur program in your system. You've attempted a lot of things. You've paid some interesting coaches and mentors, and nothing's happened, so you feel like you're a failure. You've attempted a whole bunch of businesses, but you didn't go for it. You didn't invest. You didn't get funding. You didn't do the credit, the debts. You didn't do all that right. So then you failed. So now you have this self-fulfilling, saboteur going, I'm a failure. I'm a failure. I've tried, I'm 40, 50 years old. I've tried all these things and I haven't been able to do it. Why would your stuff be different? Because we're the implementers. We're going to actually do a lot for you because you don't know what to do. You get busy making money. You stay on your jam. You do on the thing you love, and we'll help you. But you got to break this pattern. So most people are on the make, spend, make, spend, make, spend. Their whole life is make, spend, and can I afford it? And notice, like, if you go in and buy a car, well, what could you afford on your monthly payment? If you go into a mortgage to go buy a house, what can you afford on your monthly payment? If you go rent something, what can you afford? Like, who lives like that? Like, that's odd. But think about it. 99% live like that, so that's why all the marketing appeals to them. Heck, right now you go down and get an appliance, you get 0% financing for so long, and you could get your little, because all you can afford is $50 a month to get a refrigerator. Like, really? Go make some money and buy the damn refrigerator. Like, I don't get, like, this whole psychology you choose to stay in, because I'm giving you a huge open door, a YouTube channel, a podcast, a team to access to, like, break this cycle. That lifestyle cycle will keep you broke forever, and you will not have generational wealth. So again, our Generational Wealth Conference is about breaking the cycle. Most generations live 2.3 years with money. So, like, I'm going to break a huge pattern of generational wealth. I intend to have my kids inherit, but then they are under huge, I should say, guidelines, restrictions on what they need to do to make sure that their kids are educated, and then their kids are educated. Like, they're all going to get this. Great-great-grandma one day would have wrote all these books to get this kids in this legacy moving. It's serious stuff, and they're serious strategies. We want to help you put it together in a way that makes sense for you. We'll do some of it. I'll send you to the lawyers and to the financial planners and all the people you're going to need that are licensed, and I'm just going to be your educator, helping you glue it together and help you understand it. Like, I always call what I do CFS, common frickin' sense. Right? So how do you do a wealth cycle? A wealth cycle is all the money you make. And you want to start this pattern. You've heard of it, but you haven't done it. Is when you make money, you've got to put percent away. I don't care if you start with 5%, 10%, $50. I tell all my student athletes, put money away. And why I like a Roth for younger folks and even older folks is you can't access it till you're over in your 60s. So it puts it away and it parks at least, if you did 500 a month, most of your life, you'll be a millionaire in just that one move. Just fund the Roth, invest like crazy. Like I love investing. I use, and a lot of my clients use our Roths because they're tax-free, tax-deferred growth for cryptocurrency. Why not? Right? I bought some Bitcoin at 4 and 9,000 when it went up to the 64,000. All of that was tax-free growth. So you can do that in real estate. You can do that in businesses. There's all sorts of cool ways that you can use your Roth IRA. But the point of a wealth cycle is as you make it, you invest. You make invest. You got to get in that habit, right? So I teach my kids that. I've taught my kids that all the time. And it's not a savings account or for a rainy day. That's just ridiculous. That means nothing. You put it in the right account. So I'm going to put in the chat right now our iFlip link. So I have an iFlip link. That's where I put, a lot of us we use that as our wealth account, not a savings account. So a wealth account is money that you're going to put away so you accumulate enough, then you can actually use it for real estate. You could use it to go buy another business. You could go invest back in your business and go buy some better marketing, better systems. So make invest is a wealth cycle pattern, right? So think about it. It's income to assets, invested well, assets come back into new passive income, and then around and around you go. Income, assets, income, assets. Write that on a board, glue it in your head, stick it in your DNA so you understand it, and stop. Atrophy your lifestyle cycle. So a few ways to atrophy your lifestyle cycle is just don't talk about your debt. Again, go back to 194. These should be like right by, until you have your plan set up, these books should be right by you, organizing. Go to page 194. How do you get out of your bad debt, your consumer debt, in a very strategic way while building a wealth cycle? These all go together. They're very different topics, but you'll see the sequence of them. If you need to hear them on audio, we have them on audio. I had a very dear friend and colleague of mine, Martha, do all my audiobooks of these 3 millionaire makers. So they're all available. Go to shopintegratedwealthsystems.com. Go grab the audio if you don't have it over there. Right? That's where they are, right? Yeah. All right. So those of you who need to bring this generational wealth and money conversation in your home, I got to do a little commercial break. If you don't have it, well, if you have it, open it. What a novel concept. And then bring it to the Gen W conference, October 26, 27, 28, and I will autograph it and write my little name in there for you. And this is the guide from 0 to now, Logan will be 23 in a few weeks, on what we did. Kyle did an amazing job. McGraw-Hill's helped us. They're our publisher. But here's the age-specific guides. So chapter 4, what do you do from birth to 5? What do you do from 6 to 8? What do you do 9 to 11? What do you do 12 to 15? What do you do 16 and 17 and 18 and beyond? You don't hand a credit card to a kid at 18 years old. You should have been doing that, in my mind, 12 to 15, and how to do proper credit card use. So make sure you go get this, makeyourkidsmillionaires.com. If you didn't get all the bonuses or you happen to buy it on Amazon, send us in the receipt to our office. We'll put the email link in below, and send us your receipt. We'll send you the bonuses so then we can get you engaged in our conversation about money. While you get the Millionaire Maker, right, the Make Your Kids Millionaires book, we're going to be followed up with a few emails to go get the rest of my books, and more importantly, this big heavy thing, it's about 8 pounds, called Millionaire Maker Game. Now, the way you get the game in your life is and you haven't done a lot of money conversations, go all the way back to the beginning, start with Monopoly, then get Cash Flow, or Sharon's game, Thrive Time, which is a little more in the debt category, more conservative, and then the big one. So put it around your kitchen table. Your kids don't have weird money habits, so they'll probably kick your rear. They'll be millionaires faster. It's fascinating. But just what are you learning? What are you doing? Just start the conversation about money. So between all of these resources, it's really up to you. Commit a little bit of time every day. 10 minutes to my YouTube channel. Commit maybe an hour a week just to have a money meeting in your family to talk about money. It's all up to you. It's very easy to do. It's just very different than you've been taught. And you got to stop looking around this lovely place called the internet, the bathroom wall. Once you find a lane, like I'm going to get you in a Millionaire Maker lane, like the Rich Dad Poor Dad lane, like we're a philosophy about money and success. You got to stay in our lane. You can't bounce back over here and listen to Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey. They're not promising you successful millionaires. I am. right? They're going to help you get your foundation. If you're a total disaster, you should probably go get fixed up over there. I can fix you up on our side, but we're going to go really fast. And actually what I'm going to do first is get you making money. So every 3 weeks, September 1st and 2nd is our next one coming up. We have what's called the Millionaire Intensive. I teach for 2 hours. We talk about databases because I beat that drum heavily because that's how you can make money. And then we talk about your funnel pricing and how to make money. We put you in a marketplace and away you go. You're out making money, all of you. So click on the link, go get registered. If you can't come September 1, come for as long as you can. Come back then on September 22nd. Every 3 weeks we're doing this. So if I was you, note to self, we at least put minimum 40, sometimes 50, we have up to 100. So I say well in the 50 to 70 range every 3 weeks. So why wouldn't you come? And I encourage you to get a database and get some free leads of people in this conversation. Like, I don't get it. Like, a lot of you visit the marketplace and you don't get it. You don't get, oh, I need to make some money. Well, you're not making any money because you don't have a lead, you don't have a database, you have nothing to sell to anybody. So we're going to put all that together. So I'm giving you tons of free gifts for being here. If you've already been out here for a while and you're in the big table and you've been a client for a while and you're not successful, you need to revisit what you're not doing. Because there's too many people that are very, very successful doing the exact same thing. There's just something off in the sequence or here how you're thinking about money. Now, I did this cool program called Expression of Your Power with Bob Proctor, which now I'm going to call it a classic because of his passing. And it's a 12-step process on how to change your thinking about money. But I can tell you what's going to change your thinking about money faster than anything else. Put some in your pocket. Make some money. Making money shifts you very quickly because now you've proved to yourself you can do it. That's why I start with the marketplace. I want you to make $10,000, $20,000. Like, I want you to be like shocked at yourself, like, oh my gosh, I can do it. Because then you'll keep walking forward. We've got to get that hurdle of, I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to make money, and I can't afford it. All that crap's got to get deleted. We have to delete it. We have to defrag your brain, get that out of your brain, and atrophy those muscles while we grow your money muscles. All right, so what else to learn about money investing no one's taught you? Difference between good and bad debt. So good debt is an arbitrage. Right? So many people don't realize, like, if you had a bundle of money, I don't care if it's only $20,000 or $30,000, go put it over an iFlip. There's all sorts of softwares. Go do your first real estate deal. Invest it. Get it out of your possessions so you stop living on it. I mean, think about it. If you have $30,000 invested at 10%, that's $3,000 a year in passive income. Now you have a growth cycle, right? Now you have that moving. You say, yeah, but I have $30,000 in debt. So go earn $30,000 to pay off your debt in a very strategic way. Like, do not burn your principal. I don't know how many people quit a job or have a little nest egg or get a bunch of inheritance and they just blow it. None of that's helping. That's the lottery syndrome. That's actually why I'm giving a lot of attention to student pro athletes. They make a lot of money. 97% of them end up broke. Only 3% end up with a clue. And the reason is they didn't have a foundation. It was a lot of money fast with no rules, no plan, no system. They blew it all. Worst case, if you're an athlete and you get injured, the game's over. Now you have nothing. So what are you going to bank on? So I want to set a super solid foundation. I'm the glue and the implementation between the strategies. You can read all over the internet about a strategy. You can get an LLC, you can get a C Corp, you can get a trust, you can get insurance, you can get, stock account, a crypto account. How do you do it all? This isn't advice, this is educate. I'm going to educate you how to glue this plan together and put it together in a way that makes sense for you and your family's goals. Now, my goal is to leave my kids an inheritance and do generational wealth. Some of you, you're going to come to Gen W and say, I'm going to give it all to charity. How with my kids? I don't have any kids. I'm going to give it all to charity. But have a cause. Then, live for a cause. What are you going to do? And what would you like to make better in this world? That's up to you. But having good debt, I'll give you another example of really, really good debt. So good debt would be, there's so many examples. So if you could get your hands on some funding, call it $100,000. If you have good credit, I could help you get that. And you have $100,000. I would like you to go either buy inventory, go do a fix and flip. You have 0% financing for years. So why would you go get hard money, even though that sounds great? OPM always sounds sexy. Why would you go get hard money and pay 12, 15% when you can get your own on your own good credit? Again, You got to bank on yourself. A lot of you don't trust yourself to perform, which is why you need a coach and mentor. You know, every successful person, I don't care what sport it is, if it's music, if it's weight loss, if it's fitness, you have a coach. Why don't you have a business coach? I love how many of you spend money on a life coach. Well, isn't it the core of your life and your financial infrastructure? You need a money coach. You need the right one, and we're going to get you a lot of money, get your foundation solid, so when you do make a lot, you don't lose it. We're also one of the most sustainable communities of growing millionaires that stay, not have a roller coaster up and down. They make it, lose it, make it, lose it. They only lose it because they don't have a foundation. And that's what we're going to lay down for you, especially at our financial fitness trainer. I like that because, you know, I was a personal trainer, so it's all coming back around. Last thing I want to talk about is making fast money. How do you make money fast? You got to sell something. Don't make this so difficult, right? Money is in somebody else's pocket. It now needs to come to your pocket. So how do you get someone else to pay you? Product or service? What can you do? And what's simple? Like being an affiliate is a simple one, right? You can sell all this stuff, right? The game you get 50%, the books you get 50%, you can sell all that. You saw my Gen W conference. Help fill up. We want, 300, 400, 500 people in that ballroom in Reno, Nevada at the Grand Sierra Resort. Again, you can fly in the morning. I just took a flight from Florida. I left a little before 7 in the morning and I landed in Reno before noon. Registration's at noon. The hotel's a few minutes away, so you can come from anywhere in the country. You can get there, get over to the Grand Sierra, you get registered. We start at 1 o'clock. We're going to go till about 6. Then we're going to do this awesome networking that Bob Proctor taught me back in the day. I can't tell you what it is because you got to come to do it. We are not live streaming that event, so do not count on a live stream going on. Why? Because we need you in the room. We need you there, and we want a live, physical, high touch. You're going to get really high touch event. You're going to get this legacy book where you start designing your legacy. Next year, we're doing this 3 years in a row. So my commitment when I launched the NFT, my book, was a 3-year conference. So we're going to do a Gen W, which is Generational Wealth Conference. You go to genwealthconference.com. We're going to do it this year. Then next year, you're going to do a whole bunch of activities. You're going to come back. We're going to add to it. And then you're going to come back. We're going to add to it. You have a whole plan. You should have your trust done by then. You should have it funded. You should have your entities. You should have conversations with your children. How are we going to live and how are you going to acquire whatever you've done? Like whatever I've got, I've been in conversations with Logan since 18. Tristan's 15. She's already starting these conversations. So I'm not doing this to hand to a bunch of bratty kids, right? This whole book is a tool guide, step-by-step tool to raise responsible, consequence-driven kids that actually are going to help fix this place. It's a disaster out there if you haven't noticed. It's really rough out there. So make money quick. You're going to go to my marketplace. We already have it all wired. We know how to help you make money. Those of you coming back to the big table, October 29th, 30th, we will put in a marketplace so you can all make money in our marketplace live for the first time in a long time. So make sure, again, it's a 5-day experience for those of you in the big table, 26th, 27th, 28th, Gen W. Night of the 28th, we transition, you're in the big table, you stay. 29th, 30th, bring your stuff. So if you have books to bring, you have a CBD, you have a wine, you do cards, you do whatever you do, bring your stuff because you will be selling in a marketplace on the 29th for hours making money inside our big table. And guess what? That hotel's huge. I might even do an old activity where I send you out into the public, down to the casinos and make money and get huge rewards for just going for it. Yeah, you all have great stuff. Your choice to become a millionaire is right in front of you. So go to AskLoral.com, fill out like a gap analysis, get in conversation with our team. I'm going to take a little pause here and answer some questions. So any questions going on in the chat that we want to do? Any urgents? Not right now. We're going to go, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read back up through the chat. So we're performing, the recording has been recorded, but the content, we're going to stay here together. So we're going to end and pause. I'm going to pause with this as this and Gen W is what I need you to do. I need you to read. This will prepare you for the conference that's coming in 2 months, right? So that I get you organized and structured. So we're going to stay here for a while and just answer questions in the chat. Make sure you've been well served and taken care of. If there's a question once we end our broadcast that you have, again, go to AskLoral.com and we're there 24/7 to help you become a millionaire. So I hope I shared some stuff about money investing, stuff they'll never tell you. There's a really, really cool one I'm going to end you with, the big secret, called multiple corporate strategies. See, not all companies file taxes at the same time. All right. S Corps, LLCs, limited partnerships all file with you on December 31st. Your C Corp can file whenever it wants during the year. I like to see my clients do around June 30th. And you have 6 months to use multiple strategies to execute the entire 81,000 pages of tax code. And let our teams do it. I have a huge CPA, bookkeeping team, teams who help you execute this. It is not your job to pay bills and do all that anymore. It's your job to make money and be successful and hang out with us millionaires. So this is Loral, and you've been listening to my podcast. If you've enjoyed this, I have a couple things you can do that are completely up to you. Number one, take my quiz. Go to integratedwealthsystems.com and take the quiz. You will find that there's one of 4 personalities, financial personalities we call them, that you're going to fall into. So as you take the quiz, it'll actually go through and identify, are you in stagnant cash flow, right? Are you overpaying taxes? Do you have debt issues? Are you a lifestyle junkie? Where are you? And then from there, it goes to a video that actually gives you some solutions on how to correct that problem. So again, go to integratedwealthsystems.com, take my quiz, and we'll go from there.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.